How's it going? AZ Sports Guy here, and I'm with a very special guest, one of your ASU women hockey players, Sam Murphy. Thank you so much for your time. I want to not take up too much of it, but how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Matthew. How are you doing?
I bought a monster when I probably shouldn't have, so nice morning,
It's a good way to start the morning.
right? So I want to go ahead and jump right into this one. While doing research, I was a little confused on this. I think that was the second
Mhm.
question I sent you, but I want to
Yeah,
go ahead and ask now. So,
I was expecting this one.
so you committed to ASU a couple of years back. You had a pretty solid first season, and then you played 4 games at Norwich NCAA D3.
Mhm.
Is that accurate, or is it just?
It is accurate. So, as you probably know, I played my freshman season with Arizona State. And during my recruitment process, it was really heavily impacted by COVID. And so growing up in Ottawa and in the junior league that I grew up in, we were basically taught that you either go NCAA or you go U Sports, which is the Canadian NCAA, or you
Mhm.
don't play hockey at all in college. So I was only ever educated about like the NCAA, U Sports, and the ACHA was kind of put on the back burner in regards to kind of educating us about the league. So when COVID hit, none of the NCAA schools could come prospect me and watch me play. None of the U Sports schools could come watch me play. So I was kind of in a little bit of a pickle. I had an offer from a school, but they required me to take a gap year, which I wasn't really interested in doing. And I was getting a little bit panicked because I knew I wanted to play college hockey. And one of my dad's friends kind of told us that ASU has a women's hockey team. And at this time, Arizona was basically completely open from COVID. So I decided, you know what, I'll reach out to the coach, I'll fly down, I'll skate with the team, see what it's like, and no harm, no foul if I don't like it. But if I do like it, then this is a real kind of option for me to come play college hockey in Arizona. So I did that, fell in love with the school, the team, the coaches, and decided to commit here. But I still kind of had in the back of my mind, um, my opportunity at NCAA was kind of robbed from me because of COVID. And I kept thinking maybe I could still do that. And so I had a really successful freshman season, and I did get noticed by a couple Division I schools. I had one reach out to me, and they basically said, if you want to have a real conversation about this, you need to go into the transfer portal to be able to continue talking about this without breaking NCAA guidelines.
Mhm.
So I entered the transfer portal to discuss scholarship options with this Division I team. And while I was in the portal, I was unaware that every single NCAA team can see my name. So I got an abundance of emails from Division III schools. And at that time, it was kind of in my head, I was either going to play Division I or I was going to stay at ASU. And so I was kind of ignoring these teams. And then I got a really nice email from Sophie Leclerc, who is the head coach of Norwich. She basically said, I saw your name in the portal. I'm really intrigued. I'd love to have like a recruitment call with you, but also I'd love to just help guide you through this transfer process because I understand it's a really scary time. It's a huge decision to make. She herself transferred from University of Vermont to Norwich and then graduated from Norwich and then started coaching there. But she basically just was offering some kind of guidance and just like a helping hand in this process, which I thought was really nice of her. So I hopped on a call with her, learned a little bit about her school, and I narrowed my transfer options down to this Division I team and Norwich. So I went on my tour of the D1 school and decided it wasn't for me. It was a smaller school, a newer team. They had fired their coach literally as I was driving to the school for my official visit. So it was just a really like hectic time. And I kind of realized like I would rather play for an established team than a newer team. And so then I toured Norwich and just like fell in love with the team. The facilities are some of the best in the NCAA, like Division III and Division I. The coaches were fantastic. The girls on the team were so nice. And I thought like, you know what, I this is a good trade for me to go from ASU to Norwich because they are one of the top Division III teams in the country who
Mhm.
do compete and win against Division I teams. So I was like, here we go. This is the NCAA dream I've been wanting to play in. So I transferred there, and in my very first game of the season, I separated my shoulder, and that had me out for I think about 2 months. Like couldn't skate, couldn't work out. I could barely even like dress myself. I couldn't move.
Mhm.
And that kind of took a huge toll on my experience there. And it made me have to step back from from where I was standing and kind of realized, like, am I here because I want to go to this school? And if hockey was removed from the situation, would I still want to go to the school? Or am I just here to play hockey? And I kind of realized I just came here to play hockey, and I kind of put what I wanted out of my university experience kind of on the back burner. And I decided I was a lot happier at ASU. I felt more at home there. So I emailed Lindsay Ellis, the head coach again, not emailed, sorry. I shot her a text asking her to give me a call. And we called, I kind of explained my situation. She obviously needed some time to think about it. And she came back and luckily said I could come back at Christmas. And here I am. And I'm so fortunate that the coaching staff took me back and gave me the opportunity to kind of redeem myself.
And you had a very successful, half of the season over here, and just this was pretty much one of, if not the best seasons in program history for the women's hockey team. What was it like to be a part of that? And kind of going into it, excluding the transfer portal stuff, did you see a season like this happening, or is it kind of a bit of a surprise?
I definitely saw this happening for us last season. We should have definitely been at the national tournament. It was a huge upset in the playoff finals that we lost. It was hard to watch. I was injured during the playoffs for the second half of last season as well. I broke my wrist in Utah, so it was hard sitting out and watching that. And then watching the girls kind of from afar this season when I was still at Norwich, I could tell they were going to make it to the national tournament. I could tell they were going to win playoffs. And then finally rejoining the team and being a part of it, it kind of solidified everything for me. I realized that this team is not a team that ASU women's hockey has ever seen before. The culture inside the locker room, the chemistry on the ice, like this is the best team in program history. So I knew we were going to do really good things.
And especially throughout the season, there's a lot of maintained success. And what was it? It was I'm trying to get familiarize myself with the different college aspects, but it's a division championship that sent you to the national tournament. And that was the first one in program history. With some success coming to the women's team, do you see a similar jump in the near future, or a little bit further off, from club hockey to NCAA like the men had playing over at Mullet Arena right now?
Definitely. I think that this program is on track to go NCAA. I don't think it's going to be within my years here. It's a long process. It takes a lot of money, a lot of funding. So I don't think it's going to be while I'm here, but the athletic director has said that the next sport he wants to make NCAA here is women's hockey. So I think the construction of Mullet is a huge helping hand there. And just like the attention that this season has gotten our team is going to be really helpful in the progress to becoming an NCAA team.
And it's going to be exciting getting to see just the women's hockey. I know to some people might seem like a smaller thing, but to me, the growth of hockey in Arizona, the men going from ACHA to NCAA, getting their own standalone arena just for college hockey, now the success of the women's hockey team, it's showing how much hockey's growing in the desert. Was any of that on your mind when you decided to come commit to ASU in the first place? What was your mindset going into it, your expectations? Were they subverted? Kind of things you weren't really expecting hockey-wise in Arizona coming over from Canada?
I definitely, one of the big things that helped me want to commit here was the promise of this new rink and the things that would do for our program. Also, as soon as we all heard that the Coyotes were going to be playing out of Mullet, that's a huge opportunity for us, just knowing that we're going to have a lot of exposure to some very important people. And coming over from Ottawa to Arizona, the hockey community is totally different. In Ottawa, because there are so many teams and so many girls playing hockey, the community aspect of it isn't as tight-knit as Arizona. We have almost all of the Kachinas teams coming out to our games. The little girls know us by name. Their parents know us by name. One of the girls' moms follows me on Twitter and will text me and say that her daughter was at the game and that she really liked watching. We'll do blue line buddies with the Kachinas. They'll come on the ice with us, and we can tell it means a lot to them because, as you probably know, hockey isn't a huge thing in the desert, especially women's hockey. So having these little girls be able to see us and see, I can play college hockey, that's going to be me one day. It gives them something to work towards. It gives them a reason to stay in hockey besides just loving the sport. So it's really cool to be a part of.
I don't know why I got derailed for a second. Then you also have the Isabel Cup that was hosted at the Mullet Arena. And I
Mhm.
gave a little bit of shade because there was, some like people covering women's hockey that were dogging on the Coyotes when the announcement came, but that was all in good fun. With something like that being hosted in Arizona, do you think that also helps with the growth of hockey here? And then that point you're bringing about the Kachinas, which a lot of people don't know, it's one of the best girls hockey programs in the country. Like they've been growing very much over the last, I think it's 10 or 15 years. That's another thing I got to get much more familiarized with. But, what do you think impact that's going to have hosting the Isabel Cup over at Mullet?
I think that is also super important because I'm sure a lot of these little girls don't know that there is a professional women's league and that even after college hockey, there is still a way to continue playing hockey at a very competitive level that isn't just like beer league or intramurals. So I think that was really important exposure,
Mm-hmm.
as well as showing the PHF that there is hockey in the desert. We have a massive hockey rink. They could make an expansion over to Arizona, and that would be huge for women's hockey, especially the professional league. It might not be that reasonable, just like travel wise, stuff like that, but it would be a huge expansion for women's hockey in Arizona if they did decide to make a team out here.
I definitely think that's kind of another question I wanted to ask if you could see an expansion because I know it's primarily a lot on the East Coast from what I can tell. I had to pick a team, so I picked the Whale because they have Harvard Whalers colors and it's really cool. But the
Mhm.
further westward they go, it could show, hey, this is a viable market. And considering the fact that we have Olympians out of Arizona, we have a program that we're getting at the very least in the next 10 years. I could see the women going from club to NCAA. I'm not sure what division. I don't think it matters as long as that there's that jump and it's continuing to move forward. I think that it's a pretty exciting prospect, and I would love to see a team out here in Arizona because give me more hockey to support. It's
Mhm.
funny. It's one of the main reasons I actually got to catch a couple of women's games this season. Wanted to watch some games at Oceanside. I'm like, oh, hockey is starting a little early, and it was some pretty fun hockey to watch. And I was really excited to get that opportunity to get to watch some games over at Oceanside.
It's honestly, our team is a really fun team to watch, especially at Oceanside, even like Community Iceplex,
Mm-hmm.
just because the rink is a lot smaller. It feels so much like more packed when people come watch, and it's really fun. The games get really exciting when the stands are all packed. It feels really cool for us, even though we are like a club hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
We do feel like the real deal. We are the only women's team at ASU, so there's no team above us that kind of puts us in this club team position. So we do feel like a varsity team at ASU.
And then I think with the new building in Tucson, I think it's next season. They're also getting a club team down for U of A, so they're going to be doing similar to what they've been doing club hockey for the men for a while. Where you have a tournament between the three desert teams. Are you excited for that? Looking forward to that? Do you think it's going to help continue to just grow the game? Because again, more hockey the merrier out here in
Yeah,
Arizona.
I'm definitely really excited for U of A to have a team. It kind of gives us that rivalry we've been looking for. Like we do have GCU, but I think they consider us rivals. We don't really see them as rivals just because the games aren't always as competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that with U of A, they're building a new rink. They're gonna have those facilities. They have the established men's team. They're gonna bring in a really good recruitment class to play against us. And I think their main goal this season probably will be to beat ASU because we are the established team in the desert. So it's going to be really exciting. It's going to add a lot more exposure for hockey in Arizona, especially just for like the community of women's hockey. It's going to be really exciting. It's going to make the Desert Cup a lot more fun. Um, it's I'm excited to play U of A and kind of be able to be a part of that rivalry that all the other teams at ASU get to have.
I mean, and it's no disrespect to GCU, but ASU and U of A have had that rivalry forever, and it kind of felt like GCU is kind of off in Phoenix, off to
Mhm.
the side. So I completely
Exactly.
understand that, and that'll be it for the interview. So remember, go watch some ASU hockey. I don't care what level, men's, women's, club hockey, NCAA. Just go watch it because forks up or whatever. No pity for the kitty and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.